Okay, we're starting up on the regular difficulty here. Excuse me. Let's get that gun. Ah! Ah! What are you bastards doing in here? Get your ass down to that... No room. Oh, God, my daughter's so hefty. Oh, we're never gonna survive with her down there. Oh, Jesus. Food. Oh, Jesus. I need so much water. Where's the water? Any water? Fuck me. I got like one thing of water. We're so screwed. I shouldn't have grabbed the whole family. No, why did I grab fucking Timmy? Fucking Timmy. We're screwed. We are screwed. All of us made it into the shelter just a second before the blast. Nah, I don't like that voice. Let's do that again. All of us made it into the shelter just a second before the blast. That was a close one. As long as we're all together, we can make it work down here. We remember hearing canned soup is healthy for you. We vaguely remember stashing some things in the shelter because there was no room for them upstairs. Turns out being messy can really work in your favor. Oh, we got a Boy Scout book. Our shelves are full of cans. We'll eat from cans. We'll sleep on cans. We'll even talk to cans. Some of us already do. There's just barely enough water for everyone. We will have to ration it strictly. This is the best stocked shelter we've ever seen. We've never seen another one, but we're sure this is a good amount of supplies. It's not the best time or place to make plans for the future, but we can't help thinking about what we can make of this terrible situation. Is our house still standing? Or will we have to move to some forsaken hole like Toronto? I don't know anything about Toronto. I don't know if is it that bad? Maybe moving away won't be too bad. We can probably make new friends, meet new people. Provided anyone is still alive, that is. Ted's fine. Mary Jane didn't cause any trouble today. Today's been fine for Dolores. Timmy might not look like it, but he's a strong young boy. The contamination of our town is still strong. Scavenging in these conditions could result in radiation sickness. Ted is happy to risk his life in the wastes. Dolores is confident she will survive outside. Mary Jane is more than ready to go out and scavenge. Timmy is in good health and full of optimism. Should we start preparing an expedition for tomorrow? What's that sound? A galloping horse? We rushed to the door and were greeted by two men dressed like they'd come from a medieval fair. We identified the source of the sound. One of them was holding two rocks and hitting them against each other constantly, while the other was skipping and pretending to be a rider. They said they're looking for some antique cup, but they'd get lost, and they would be most grateful if we would let them check our map, provided we have one, which we don't. We couldn't contain our laughter, and our guests took offense. They ran off shouting that our ancestors were rodents and smelled like forest fruits. How rude. There has to be some water left. Dolores should get it. How about getting Timmy something to drink? He's not looking well. Ted is fine. There isn't anything new bothering Mary Jane. It looks like the area is still irradiated. Going to the wasteland right now is unsafe unless you don't mind getting sick. Ted is vigorous enough to withstand the hazards of the wasteland. Dolores is in pretty good shape. Wasteland is no match for Mary Jane. Timmy is good. We had planned to go to Niagara Falls and see those beautiful waterfalls. We never expected to get a waterfall of our very own in our shelter. Right now, it seems that half a dozen pipes burst and all that water is pouring right into our bunker. We need to save our supplies. I don't understand how we're saving our supplies. We click on them. The radio was rescued first before any of that filthy liquid got into its case. It wasn't long before most of the water disappeared, but the damage it had done was enough to upset us. Cleaning and fixing this mess will take us days. And what's that smell? Dolores is no longer thirsty, Timmy is no longer thirsty, Ted says there's no need to worry about him, he's okay. Mary Jane says she's fine and doesn't need anything. We've been preparing for this expedition since yesterday and feel ready to go right now. Who should be the lucky one to venture into the unknown? Take a gas mask. Oh god. Ted left for the surface. We hope he'll be back soon. Mary Jane's feeling safe, who wouldn't in this coffin-sized shelter. Dolores is doing quite well, or she just can't find anything to complain about today. Timmy's on his best behavior. How long will that last? We haven't eaten in a while, so we'll just, we'll give him the food. If there's one sure way to get our attention, it's definitely banging on our shelter door. Whoever it is, they're quite persistent. They've been at the door for the past 5 minutes. Should we open? No. The banging stopped after a while, and whoever was behind the door left. We have no idea who it was. Will we ever find out? Water is all Dolores wants. Timmy doesn't need much, but he should drink. Mary Jane says she's fine and doesn't need anything. One of the cupboards in the shelter was a bit shaky, so we pulled it out to give it a new home. In the process, we discovered a secret door. Where does it lead? No idea, but let's find out. It was very fortunate we had that flashlight. If it wasn't for that, we would have missed a pile of old maps collecting dust in a corner. They were mostly boring national park maps and the like, but one of them turned out to be a map of our town. We should get Mary Jane something to drink. Dolores is no longer thirsty, Timmy's no longer thirsty. It's not easy to be calm in these circumstances. Hopefully we will keep our peace, or else we might need to act like wolves. Survival of the fittest and all. We're trying our best to remain calm. The situation we're in is far from normal and we might never get used to it. We hope the help comes soon. Mary Jane's no longer thirsty. Everything seems okay with Dolores. Timmy's okay. As long as we have food and water, we can stay locked in, but we'll have to leave eventually. It would be good to head straight to safety instead of getting ourselves into more trouble, if that's even possible in this situation. Our hope is that our brave soldiers will come to rescue us and take us to some well-hidden, well-stocked government shelter. Timmy had comics about those, so you know they must exist. All we need to do is make contact with the military. We knew it. The government has not fallen, and they're coming to save us. They didn't give us exact dates in their radio transmission, but we're sure they won't keep us waiting long. They said they will be in touch in a couple of days and told us to await further instructions. Dolores can't remain this thirsty for long. Timmy prefers apple juice but needs water. Mary Jane says she's fine. That trash can of ours is getting disgusting. The good news is we don't have much of an appetite when we see it, so we're saving some food. Yet for some reason we would like to tidy this mess up. Those giant green cockroaches are a pretty good motivator. We dodged a bullet this time. That is, if a bullet was a huge, hairy, had 8 legs, and a glowing head. Hopefully, we won't have to deal with them again. Mary Jane is very thirsty and has to drink. We didn't expect to get a phone call so soon after the atomic bomb dropped, yet here we are. We can clearly hear a phone ringing outside. It must be the public phone booth on the other side of the street. Should someone go answer it? Dolores, get out there. Go answer that phone. Hey, we're all here. Ted survived. When we answered the phone, we could clearly hear a gasp of relief from the caller. They introduced themselves as survivors from a nearby town of Hill Valley. We had started exchanging information when the call was cut short. Something must have gone wrong on their side. We hope they will get back to us. Ted has safely returned from his voyage to the surface. What was that? Is it a bird? Is it a stockbroker? Is it the bicycle repairman? No. It's the aid airdrop. That was an excellent time to leave the bunker in search of supplies. One of the food drops broke in midair, and now it's raining soup. Luckily for us, a few cans survived. Some crates were filled with some very weird stuff. Why did they drop a crate full of rubber ducks? At least one of the smaller crates had a few water bottles in it. Ted is hungry and really tired. Mary Jane's no longer thirsty. Dolores is quite calm. Timmy is good. Looks like the area is still irradiated. Going to the wasteland right now is unsafe. Wouldn't you know it, our dear Mary Jane keeps a diary. For some reason, she was hiding it in the scout book we keep in our shelter. We have no doubts what needs to be done right now. Each of us must be assigned a role, and the diary must be read aloud, right? No. That's mean. Mary Jane thanked us for respecting her privacy. She then ripped out and tore all of the pages, set them on fire, stomped on them, fed them to a mutated rat outside. A bit excessive, but we all feel better now that it's been dealt with. We still wonder what she wrote about us, though. Ted's stomach is rumbling. Ted still hasn't recovered his energy. Dolores will not last long without water. Timmy's been talking about nothing other than water. He should drink some. It's impressive how well Mary Jane is handling the situation. We've been preparing for this expedition since yesterday and feel ready to go right now. Who should be the lucky one to venture out into the unknown? Timmy! Send Timmy outside with an axe. Day 12. Await further instructions from the military. Await further instructions from friendly wastelanders. Make contact with other wastelanders. Timmy went out into the wasteland. We don't know what we'll do if he doesn't come back. He took an axe. Ted isn't hungry anymore. He's rested. Getting something to drink for Mary Jane sounds like a good idea. There's been some radio chatter about airdrops from the military. It's about time. All those taxes had to pay for a crate or two of us. For us, right? Shall we head out to get them? We went to get the supplies and our gas mask got a bit damaged. Note taken, don't stand under a supply drop crate when it's falling out of the sky. The airdrop crate we found wasn't exactly huge, but it contained a few supplies that will definitely help us. We were especially happy to find some water bottles and food cans. For a moment, we thought it was canned meat, but then we found out it was tomato soup. Our theory is that this whole country used to run on tomatoes and no one suspected a thing. Ted's hungry. Hear that? It sounds like a herd of animals are stampeding just above our heads across what used to be our beautiful lawn. They're not getting away with that. It might be a perfect opportunity to get some fresh food. Who should go hunting? Mary Jane, get your ass out there and hunt. Well, if we've ever had a bad idea, this excursion definitely makes the top 5 list. Everything was going well until we realized it's a velociraptor herd, or something that looked like one. Even if they weren't, their hunger for flesh was equal to that of the dinosaurs. Our expedition discovered this the hard way. We lost the gun, and we lost Mary Jane. Ted isn't hungry. He needs water. Water for Dolores, too. When conducting our daily supply count, we've noticed that a soup can was missing. We're absolutely sure it was there just yesterday. That can only mean one thing. We have a soup thief among us. Now we just need to figure out who the culprit is. Whatever happened to our precious soup, we'll let it go. One can isn't worth the drama and arguments that would ensue, and we really don't have enough evidence to figure out who did it. Maybe we just made a mistake when counting. We'll never know for sure, but if someone did steal it, they'll be taking their secret to the grave. Dolores is no longer thirsty. We woke up today feeling very uncomfortable. It was like someone or something was watching us. We could have sworn we'd noticed movement in the shadows. If anything besides us is alive in the bunker, it's time to teach it who's the boss around here. Well, we don't have the gun anymore because Mary Jane doesn't know how to friggin' shoot because she's a tuba fool. As we were running around looking for something to smash that furry rodent with, it just disappeared. So did one of our food cans. Question is, how did that devil fit it through one of those little holes? There isn't much going on with Ted. No trouble, nothing new. If there was anything to report about Dolores, this is where it would have been written. The army is on the radio again. They said they'll be scouting the neighborhood and need to find clear signs of survivors that are still alive. We were asked to leave a few cards at the nearest bus stop to mark how many people occupied our shelter. We should get going if we want to make it before nightfall. Well, I don't have cards. Damn it, we missed our chance to let the military know where we are. There's a good bet they will get back to us again, but when will that be? All Ted wishes for are a few drops of water. Dolores will not last long without water. We know very little about what's going on outside. It'd be a good idea to find out more. Maybe discover if anyone else made it to safety. A radio could help with this. Oh man, I need to shave. Oh, Timmy, what the fuck happened to you, kid? Did you lose the axe? It looks like you found a gun, though. We were able to get a weak signal and tap into government's emergency announcement service. And guess what? Great news! The fallout outside has mostly gone. It should be much safer to travel on the surface now. We were so afraid for Timmy, but he came back from the wasteland and is safe with us now. If you're desperate enough, or have peculiar dietary needs, any place can be interesting enough to look for supplies. For instance, garbage cans. Garbage collection was supposed to be happening around this time, but the trucks never came. We never thought we would say that, but we aren't complaining. One of our pre-blast neighbors threw out a few unopened cans of soup. Ha! Joke's on him. If he's in his shelter right now, he's probably full of regrets. With a lawn like that, who wouldn't be? Why do people throw out water? Who cares? Finders keepers. That pacifist guy from around the corner threw out his rifle. It's ours now. Wonder if it still works. Oh, the irony. Or maybe a paradox, or maybe neither. A gas mask is lying in a pile of stinky garbage. We returned from the expedition, but our axe didn't make it. Our little trip to the surface might have been spotted and followed. We should be more careful next time. Ted isn't thirsty. Dolores isn't thirsty. Timmy should eat, is really tired, and isn't feeling well. We're not certain about the situation on the surface. A trip could be risky, but we could really use the supplies. We'll send Ted out. There's never a good time to go out into the radioactive wasteland, but it seems this will become a necessity in this new world of ours. We thought it would be a good idea to make this happen sooner rather than later and planned a trip outside. Before we could make the third step beyond the shelter doors, an unknown creature started growling at us in the darkness. We had only moments to decide what to do.